Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Final Fantasy Presents Rando Marathon Summer 2023. We have some Dragon Warrior Rando action for you here, but first, from our previous run, one of the commentators, Rax, donates and says, "Please put this towards the difficulty going to 11 in Symphony of the Night, or if that's been met, host choice. Thank you for sharing so many randos with us for such a great cause." And that was $20 from Rax. And before I hand it off here, the donation incentives for this run were a naming incentive, and we can see that our runners have taken Thou, and one runner will be Mina the Hollower, and the other runner will be Black Mage. And I'll hand it over to Diabetes and Brian Williams.
All right, thank you for the introduction. Alongside my partner in the booth, Brian Williams 42, I am Diabetes II, and tonight we'll be bringing you some Dragon Warrior Randomizer between Angel FM and Archfield Monk. How are you doing tonight, Brian? Are you ready for some chaos?
I am ready. I'm ready for some chaos. I'm ready for some very difficult fights, and I'm ready to see our two runners putting on a good show for us.
Yeah, I have a strong feeling we'll see some fireworks between our runners tonight. Whether or not they're the target of said fireworks remains to be seen. We'll just have to see. So tonight's race will proceed under some rather spicy flags. So we have a randomized overworld map, town and cave locations, chest and search spot treasures, enemy zones, skills, spells, stats, and rewards with consistent stats. We'll talk a little bit about what that means a bit later. Hero stack growth and spells, as well as an expanded chest pool, stair shuffle, heal and hurt before more, 100% EXP requirements, among some other things. So that's a lot to cover. We'll talk about it as we play, and it will go from there. So looking forward to this one.
Yep, we are getting ready to start here. It looks like our runners have their names entered and are starting off with 3 chests from the king. Sometimes it's great items like the sword that the hero should wield to win the game, and sometimes it's the fairy flute, which plays a lovely melody.
I honestly am a bit surprised that Angel has not reset and eschewed picking up the flute, as he is known to do on occasion, but it looks like he'll keep it this time.
But they have found that they have the spell of hurt, which gives them a pretty decent leg up on doing some damage to enemies and maybe getting a kill before something kills them. That's their real hope here.
Yeah, certainly a couple of possibilities here in the early game. They also have a little bit of cash money to their name as well, so they could venture out a little bit, see if they can find a town, pick up some offensive or defensive equipment, healing herb, something. But it looks like Archfield draws first blood.
Yeah, we got some level 2. We also learned the spell of heal, so the runners kind of lucked out on this seed. They have both heal and hurt, so they have the ability to survive a little bit and damage some things. So we'll see what happens.
Meanwhile, on the right side, Angel has found the town of Garenham, picked up a little bit of equipment. I saw chainmail and I believe a copper sword. Looks like he's also going to fill up on herbs, dragon scale, torch, etc., as is customary.
So one thing, if you have played any Dragon Warrior, you know that the starting enemies are usually slimes. That's your traditional Dragon Warrior first fight. But we're playing with flags where every enemy's stats have been completely randomized. So today's slimes could be some of the toughest enemies in the game, and then you're seeing things that normally give you fear, but if they're near the start, they're almost certainly going to be very soft and easy to kill. So that's like the Golem, which is the defender of Cantlin in the vanilla game. Today, take it out with a hurt. So you kind of have to try every enemy out, your predisposition to what it should be, means nothing with these flags today.
Despite the brief lead there for Archfield, looks like Angel has caught up nicely, using that hurt spell, taking out a few enemies as Archfield gets set on fire.
Yeah, the Wizard was worth 32 experience, which is so far the best we've seen, and it looks like it was pretty susceptible to that hurt spell, and Angel has been able to find them and kind of get that early farm going, whereas the other enemies have not been so bad. Oh, there's a Wraith, the new experience leader at 36. So I think this is going to be the early story of the seed. Find some experience.
Yeah, not surprised to see Archfield immediately pivot into an early grind here in those forest tiles. Slightly higher encounter rate than the plains tiles nearby. See if you can pick off a few more of those high tier enemies, at least in terms of the rewards.
And you've noticed some enemies are starting to run away from our hero. And that means that the enemy strength is, I think it's less than half of the hero's strength, and they get very scared and don't even give you a chance to fight them 25% of the time. So this might start to become a little more difficult as more enemies kind of hit that threshold and start running away. But for now, Archfield's grinding it out there, and Angel's in this desert nearby.
Yeah, Angel picked up a slime kill for 40-some XP, so that's another decent enemy in this vicinity. He saw it a little bit closer to town. He will not like that Wraith Knight. A little more challenging.
Yeah, so that Wraith Knight just did 90 damage, and that means that enemy is going to be frightening for the entire game. No amount of defense will help you reduce that much more than maybe a third. So you never want to see that enemy again.
Yeah, if we're going to keep track and figure out which enemies may be in the final dungeon later, Wraith Knight's on my list.
I'm actually keeping track, so that's the first one on my list. Yeah, it's almost certainly going to be one of our endgame enemies that we see in Charlotte Castle. But the wizards are mixed in, so Angel is going to soldier on and risk coming in across those Wraith Knights and just keep farming this experience as much as possible.
Looks like he's venturing forth a little bit as well, trying to get the lay of the land a little bit. Might have the northern edge of the map with that big flat edge. See if he can locate any other locations, pick up a chest or two, maybe get some better equipment.
Yeah, we don't have random weapon prices on, so 200 gold isn't going to buy you too much, but every little bit of offense will help. So maybe you'll find some keys. That might be the bigger find this early in the race.
Yeah, keys are particularly important in this flag set. With the expanded chest pool, instead of there being, 34-ish chests in the game, there still will be 30-ish chests, but they'll be spread out across 90-plus possible locations, many of which are key blocked. So anyone's game as to who gets first key, that could make a huge difference.
Yeah, that's one of the newer additions to the Dragon Warrior Randomizer, is this larger pool of chest locations. And so that includes in the inns within towns. There's even a chest in the abandoned town of Hawksness that is behind a key door, but you can find it without going into a cave. So it gives our runners more places to look for things, but also makes things much less predictable about where you'll find them.
Well, two new locations spotted. Archfield finds Charlotte Castle, while Angel finds the town of Cole. Search spot Erdrick's Tease, Erdrick's Token.
One of our 3 items we need to find to get into Charlotte Castle to win the game, but of course does nothing but look good in your inventory for the first bit of the game here.
Yeah, we probably should explain what the whole point of this is, shouldn't we? So, as is the story of Dragon Warrior, even in vanilla, such is the case here in Randomizer as well, the primary objective is to find and defeat the Dragon Lord who has stolen the magical ball of light that bestows peace upon the kingdom of Alefgard. To do so, the hero must collect several key items in order to make the rainbow drop, which builds a bridge granting access to Charlotte Castle. Along the way, the hero is going to fight enemies one at a time to gain experience and levels to get stronger, gold to purchase weapons, armor, and items to aid in their quest. So far we've done a lot of the fighting enemies to get levels and stats, and not a lot else.
There is a flag in today's race that does kind of control the spell learning order. And that's an important thing in the randomizer in particular. The most powerful spells of Heal More and Hurt More are typically the last things you learn in the original game, but in Randomizer, they can come at any time. We've at least added one flag, which requires you learn Heal and Hurt before the Heal More and Hurt More versions, and that's where the runners are quite lucky. They already have Heal and Hurt, so they are eligible to learn those most powerful spells any given level here, which is going to increase their incentive to just get that one more level and see if it unlocks some very powerful spell.
Looks like Angel has stumbled into the mountain cave, checked one chest location there in the southeast that was empty, and he did go down the southeast stairs. Remember, we do have stairs shuffle on as well, so those stairs interconnect to a lot of different potential places, not where you'd expect them to go. I didn't quite catch where exactly that led him, but he did not explore further, opting instead to explore the rest of Mountain Cave, at least the top floor of it.
I didn't catch it either. Recognizing dungeons in the 5 frames that some of these runners give you is a commentary challenge. But yeah, Angel actually found the way to the second floor of Mountain Cave, which has 8 or 9 of these potential chest locations. And of course, the first 3 are empty, but there's still a lot more hope here for Angel on this floor.
Yep, 4 more locations to check if the enemy set will allow him to do so. Meanwhile, Archfield got sent back home and is opting to continue the grind. Not a bad choice by any means. You know that there's going to be a lot of potentially deadly enemies out there, and surviving and gaining XP and gold is certainly preferable to dying repeatedly and gaining nothing.
So if we have a second.
We do.
Awesome. So I did want to plug a few things for the upcoming randomizer here. So with your donation to the Liam Foundation today, you can help increase the difficulty of the randomizer 11 or beyond. Right now we are halfway to 11 or a little over halfway with $43.62 of $80. And then also there is an open and not yet donated to file name bid war. So you could snag the file name that will be used for Symphony of the Night pretty inexpensively with your donation to the Liam Foundation. Thanks.
All right. What we have found is Angel found the Fighter's Ring in Mountain Cave, which gives you +2 attack power permanently for the rest of the game. But that was actually the only one of the many potential chest locations that had something. So Mountain Cave was not very exciting for Angel and turned out to be a little bit disappointing, actually.
Yeah, there's like 9 possible locations there. We found one thing. We did get 2 attack power, that's a thing, but definitely not what you want to see if you're on Angel's side. You find this cave early, you get a chance that you actually get to dig it all the way through, but not much there.
But actually, Archfield found what every runner wants, which is that level 7, you learn Hurt More. So now the seed opens up. You have this extremely powerful spell, and you're going to just cast it at absolutely anything that moves, see what you can get.
Yeah, that's another part of our chaos enemy set here, is that all the things that you'd expect to be very susceptible or easy one-shot kills, etc. with Hurt More, since that is by far the best offensive option for our runners right now, maybe it is, maybe it's not. So you never know. Best to just throw that Hurt More out there, see what hits, see what doesn't, and try to learn along the way.
So I guess it's probably time to sort of try to understand one of the flag combinations we have, which is this flag called consistent stats. And, I guess we'll try to say it succinctly. We might need chat to ask some questions. Feel free to ask. But consistent stats, when they are randomized, which is when every enemy gets new HP, new attack, new experience assigned to them, make sure that they are kind of all about the same level. That is, an enemy that has very low HP should also give very low experience. An enemy that has very high strength should also have very high HP, because why would you design an enemy that has 2 HP and 100 strength? So what the runners will find is there's a high correlation between how strong an enemy is and what it's worth to kill, but also how difficult it is to kill. So that's where the challenge really will come in this seed, is anything that is very easy to kill is going to be worth very little, and you want to go fast. So you want to find things that are worth a lot.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fact-finding in this type of flag set, in addition to all the other things that you're typically managing and trying to manage, figure out where things are, your randomized map, which chests have which things, and making sure you have all the things. But this is just another wrinkle in that our runners will have to navigate throughout this run.
Hopefully, Archfield noticed the red slime took 2 Hurt Mores to kill, which means it has probably well over 70, maybe even 100 hit points, but it also rewarded 130 experience, which is by far the best we've seen so far this seed, which is much better than the 2 experience it gives in the randomizer normally. So red slimes now look like kind of a juicy target, and we'll see if Archfield looks for more of them.
Well, I think we can add the Magidrake to our list of Sharlock tier enemies, taking Angel out with a strike of 80. They seem to be something to be feared.
Yeah, unfortunately, the enemy Hurt More resistance, their ability to not be affected by that spell, is also going to be correlated with their experience and difficulty. So an enemy like the Magidrake is probably also less likely to just be easy to get out of the way with a couple of Hurt Mores. So they're going to be a real challenge for the rest of this race as well. And they don't have some of the other spells that can help them deal with these enemies. They will eventually learn Sleep at some point. And if you can put an enemy to sleep, you are guaranteed to run away. So you can hope that is how you can deal with the Magidrakes or the Wraith Knights, which just got Archfield yet again. Maybe Sleep will be something, and you're just going to have to try it all out and see what works against each individual enemy.
Yeah, Sleep and Stop spell, definitely a lot more. Not that they're not useful in the typical standard flag set, but they're even more useful in this flag set for exactly the reasons that you outlined there.
Because, of course, the Wraith Knight not only has high attack and probably high hit points, but has very high agility, which means your ability to run from it is going to be also quite low, which Archfield found out trying to run away twice and failing both times. So, yeah, this is going to be We'll see if anyone survives a Wraith Knight. That's maybe the first milestone is just encounter one and live to tell the tale.
Well, before Angel took his death there, we did have sighting of the town of Breckenary, and we got sight of 2 of our new chest locations. So the town of Breckenary's Inn had 2 key-locked treasure chests in it, so that will be someplace that Angel will want to go back to immediately once he picks up keys.
And for people who don't know, there are 3 chests in the game that can have keys, but those could also be behind key-locked doors. So they are not a reliable way to get your first key. The only safe way to get it is to find the town of Rimildar, which has a shop in the back which sells magic keys and doesn't require that you already have one to buy more, which the other 2 stores that sell them do. So that's your only way to really get going, is to find that shop and buy your first key.
So we do have a donation from Lord Fizzlebeath for $25 saying, going to bed soon, but hoping to undo some damage tomorrow. Put this towards a forced black mage for the Final Fantasy Randomizer Shuffler tomorrow morning. And I believe Lord Fizzlebeath is attempting to save himself from white mages.
One thing chat points out is the post-game stats. So another new feature of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer, which McGrew, who's in chat here, is the author. So thank you for everything you're seeing on screen, McGrew. The stats of your encounters are now recorded, so you can see at the end of the game how many times you found Wraith Knights, how many times you killed them, and how many times they killed you. So I think this seed, we kind of know how that ratio is going to look. But yeah, we'll see at the end of the race, who ran into more of them, who died to more of them, and you'll be able to see stats like how many times each spell was cast, how many swings, how many critical hits you struck with your enemies, and kind of fun to see the stats at the end of a race. Wish the original game could have had something like that, but it's a cool addition to Dragon Warrior Randomizer here.
Jumping back a moment to that donation that we got from Lord Fizzlebeef, and thank you for that. Thanks for donating to the campaign. We do already have a black mage playing in this randomizer, so perhaps some of our community friends there will, balance that out with a white mage. That could be a thing. Just saying. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, get in quick while Lord Fizzlebeath is in bed.
So I guess here we are, we're 20 minutes in. So for people who are kind of jumping in the middle, our runners started with the spell of Hurt, which let them take out some weaker enemies near the start. They were able to progress through a few hundred experience relatively quickly, but they have now both decided they want to try to make their way in this world and find something interesting. And their experience has really not accelerated with that ambition. So we're at 20 minutes and both runners are right around 1,000 experience. We'll see if they can find a way to accelerate that further, but we're also up to about 10 deaths each, which is that last number in the stat screen on the left. So we'll see how that pace for each improves as we go along, but yeah, they're all looking for a way to kind of get more experience quickly.
Yeah, it just hasn't been easy to come by. They've both been pushing the exploration a little bit, and perhaps taking a few deaths associated with that, looking for that zone of enemies that's going to get them, racking up good experience quickly. It just seems every nearby zone that starts off well has one of those terrible enemies, the Wraith Knight or the Magidrake in it, that just ruins everything.
Yeah, so for people who, when we talk about zones, the map is split up into 15 by 15, kind of imagine an overlay of a grid, and each zone within that 15 by 15 grid has up to five unique enemies. So in the zones nearest to the castle, they're guaranteed to be some of the weakest enemies, even with these randomized abilities and stats that they all have. And once you're outside of that, it can be 5 of anything. So getting a zone where all 5 enemies don't kill you right away is really ideal, but it could be a challenge to find. And that's where Angel is right now. You can see these little short pacing back and forth is like just checking out one zone, see if you can find all 5 enemies there, and see if that's a place you can camp out for a while.
On the other side, it looks like Archfield has stumbled into the mountain cave as well. I still didn't quite catch exactly where that southeast staircase led, but right now he's on Mountain 2. It's gonna get the bad news that all that's here is a fighter's ring, and literally nothing else. Not just nothing of consequence, just nothing. Hopefully he's able to pick up all of those chests, and does not, end up having to re-dive this later.
Yeah, this is gonna be disappointing. They have this permanent torch, which gives them a 1 tile radius so that they can see around freely. It also helps chat and comms see where kind of people are. If you had the spell of Radiant, it lights up a 3 by 3 grid, and you can actually see across the walls and see where the chests might be, and get an earlier notice of is there something there? Should I make this walk around this corner? So Archfield's going to have to kind of walk directly to each spot to find there's nothing there, which kind of amplifies the disappointment of this cave.
One thing to his benefit, he does have hurt more in diving this, and these Axe Knights, although they're not vanilla, not quite as good, 90 XP a pop is pretty decent, opening up that EXP lead on Angel just a little bit, sitting at about 300 or so.
Yeah, has no MP, really wants to finish clearing the mountain cave, checking all these spots, but is going to be cutting it really close with the ability to just even make it to the end. This slime is putting up a big fight. Angel has actually taken the final staircase from this top floor of Mountain Cave, and it brought him to the top floor of what we call the Tablet Cave, which actually has no enemies in it. It had an herb, and now it actually brings him to the back of Tanagel Castle, which lets him get to one of the key shops that normally requires a key. So Angel has found the back door into keys and can now start opening all these doors with chests behind them.
That is an absolutely massive pickup for Angel. He did not get to those stairs the first time through. He also didn't get to the top floor chest. I didn't notice that he didn't get it before. Turned out to be a cursed belt on Mountain Cave. But yeah, this is huge for Angel. He has a couple of chests in the treasury here in Tanthagil. He's already picked up one chest here in the back as well. And he knows that there are 2 more in Breckenary, plus potentially some more in Garenham. So big advantage Angel right here.
Of course, one of those chests has to actually have something in it for that to pay off, but certainly the momentum could really easily swing here if one of these chests has Erdrick's armor or Erdrick's sword.
What about Erdrick's Fairy Water, or Erdrick's replacement key for the key we just spent to open it?
I mean, Erdrick's backup key is a pretty helpful find, but it really doesn't do quite as much as a sword. So we have Angel, who is looking inside this big town hall of Garenham, and there's 3 or 4 chests potentially, and
Nothing.
none today. None.
Where are all the chests hiding?
I think they're all in Charlotte Castle. So
We can only hope.
Hopefully. Okay, there's a staircase that goes into a cave from Garenham, from behind the town hall. Today that leads into the Swamp Cave, which, if there are 2 continents on this map, is the connector cave between the 2. There are also 3 potential search locations within this cave. The first one, of course, did not have a chest. Angel's walking to the southern entrance, which has the second place you can look. And then the third place is actually where Princess Gwaelin is being held captive by a mini boss fight, so to say. And so that might be a risky check if Angel wants to go there.
Honestly, it's probably worth a check. If nothing else, to check the spike tile out, see if it's something that might be hurt more amenable. Even with the, chaos stats and consistent stats that we've been dealing with, there is the possibility that it's something that could be taken out and could be a reasonable grind.
Yeah, the logic picks from something like the 10 worst enemies and puts one of them on that spike. So maybe it's the, 10th worst and not the absolute worst enemy, and something you can actually repeatedly kill. So we'll see if Angel takes a look. The chest at the bottom, I don't believe had anything interesting. Maybe you caught it, Diabetes?
Yeah, just some gold, so nothing that's gonna set the world on fire. And actually now thinking, one other thing to factor in that we may see, if you're not familiar, we do have the possibility of a chest glitch in Dragon Warrior Randomizer, or Vanilla Dragon Warrior for that matter. In the absence of going through the whole explanation, really the number one thing you'd want to see later on in a seed is to see a gold chest somewhere in Tantegel or attached to Tantegel. And unfortunately, in all the locations that I believe we are connected to, I don't think we saw a gold chest in Tantegel, unless there was one here in the back. But the Tablet Cave connector did not, and Mountain Cave did not either.
No, the Tablet Cave, where Angel is going now, only had an herb. So that does not give you a gold chest without going to the overworld, which is the requirement of this kind of infinite gold glitch.
He does appear to be picking up all the chests along the way, so he's thinking perhaps... again, we still haven't gotten a good look at what that third staircase leads to in the southeast. If it leads to somewhere that could have treasure chests, then that could still lead to something.
Yeah, we have stair shuffle on, which makes every up and down stair connect to any other potential stair. It doesn't even have to be the up or down graphic connector. But some of those stairs can be to parts of Charlotte Castle. And if any of the stairs lead you there today, you are not going to want to go there until you are quite ready for some of the toughest fights. So that might be where that third staircase goes now. And that's why both runners decided to immediately turn around, head back up the stairs.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture the spot. I did get a very, very quick glimpse looking back. It might be the center of the spiral in Charlock Basement 6. I'm not 100% positive, in which case there could be a chest there. And it also may connect to something else that has more chests, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, but you can only see one tile in radius. There's a lot of stairs that all kind of look the same. Usually you need to see 1 or 2 steps to be sure. Angel is clearing this out and gets the plate skeleton, which is a sign that the chest glitch is active. There is no item called plate skeleton, but now you are out of bounds in memory and you get some pretty interesting names. So I've never actually seen the plate skeleton before. Congratulations, Angel, for a new one.
Again, it's interesting that he went back and did this. Obviously, the XP gains in this area are pretty good. Perhaps he just didn't recall specifically if one of these chests happened to have gold, just looking to get that gold grind going. Good equipment certainly would help the survivability here. It's not going to help so much against the Magidraki and the Wraith Knight, but against pretty much everything else, having a flame sword and a silver shield would be pretty good.
Yeah, if you see any enemy doing 20 to 30 to 40 damage, some good armor and a good shield will really make a big difference on that. Might be able to knock it down into the teens or potentially into the damage broken range where your defense is higher than their strength and it does very little damage. So you're looking for things that do about 20 damage now, and then you come back when you have armor, and they should be much easier to deal with. I think this Axe Knight is going to be a very important fight for our runners today. Sleep worked on it. Angel gave Sleep a try and it worked, which gives you the option to run away, gives you potentially some free turns to keep fighting it without it doing damage to you. So we know it's killable. We've seen Archfield do it, and now we've seen it fall asleep. So it might have some real weaknesses that these runners can leverage. Oh, there is the gold chest. Soft Numb did remember this one in the middle, and Angel has set up the grind.
Success, he caught something that we hadn't. That is pretty big. I don't recall exactly everything that we've seen, but we've certainly seen both Flame Sword and Silver Shield in this seed so far. If we have at least a half plate or something, Angel will be very set by comparison, at least in terms of equipment and loadout. He also has the key access that Archfield's still looking for, but Archfield holds on to about a 600 or 700 XP lead, perhaps a little bit of exploration advantage as well. So just have to see how things pan out.
Yeah, I actually believe one of the towns nearby has all three of the most expensive items, the Flame Sword, Magic Armor, and Silver Shield. So I would expect Angel to go all the way to 33,000 and save with the King, and then attempt to buy all the best gear money can buy. And I think if we were kind of watching a standard Dragon Warrior race, I would say, oh, that's a huge lead. It's going to be really hard for Archfield to come back from not finding that key so quickly, but not in these flags. We've seen some of these enemies are just walls that you cannot get by, you cannot kill. Archfield just did 1 damage to a Wraith Knight, and it did 86 back. So there's no way you can predict the outcome of this race until you see how bad the Charlotte Castle enemy set looks like here.
Oh, no question. Absolutely. So this is far from over, and not including, of course, Stair Shuffle is a huge impact on this as well. So some of these particular items might be very difficult to find. If you happen to go to the right path, the right set of stairs, you might find them easily. Otherwise, you might end up in a cascade of stair upon stair upon stair that just leads into itself. Very Stanley Parable. Archfield needs to get a little something going here, whether he dedicates to a grind or whether he stumbles into something Angel has yet to find that changes things, but definitely a lot of race still to go.
Yeah, you have to remember what you've looked at too. There's I can't remember the number, but yeah, it's definitely 70 plus potential locations. Could be maybe 90. And if you forget that you've checked one or haven't checked one, and that has a key item, you can both lose quite a bit of time and quite a bit of your chill trying to find that last item.
Very true. Fortunately for Archfield, he stumbled into a location that was just off screen. He kept going south in that area previously. He goes east this time, and he finds the critical town of Ramuldar. He gets his key access the traditional way, and he will begin to open up some of these treasure chests that Angel has not yet found. Erdrick's Fairy Water. Great.
Of course. If any of these are, I would say Erdrick's armor is the key find right now. They have hurt more, which does even more damage than you could do with a sword. So you're going to try to use that first and foremost, but the armor would just be wonderful to put on and wear around.
Yeah, Erdrick's armor arguably one of the best pieces of equipment in any RPG ever. Not to mention all of its other possibilities, the best defense in the game, 1 HP per step regen, decreases damage done by hurt and hurt more, and by breath attacks, including Dragonlord Breath, immune to stop spell, protection against barrier and swamp tiles. Really, especially with the low MP that both of our runners have at level 9 and 10 respectively, that could be pretty big. If one were to find the armor and save a little bit on that MP cast for heal and heal more to survive, that could mean a longer grind, more hurt mores thrown out, etc. So that is another possible game changer.
Yeah, I mean, you really like that stop spell resistance. If enemies try to cast it, they're not smart enough to learn it doesn't work. So they can give you a ton of free turns if you find one with stop spell. So even a very difficult enemy can become fairly easy to get through if you know stop, or if you have the armor and they know stop spell.
Angel finally takes his keys over to the town of Breckenary, and inside one of the inn chests, none other than Erdrick's sword. No tease this time. Erdrick has bestowed his sword upon Angel, of course about 10 seconds after he spent 10,000 gold on a flame sword. Isn't that always the way?
Yeah, so that was a flame sword laying on the ground in that inn, I guess, for the next person who stays there. They get the hand-me-downs.
Take a penny, leave a penny.
But it's a trade you'll make if you're Angel. Kind of checks the box, and you're a little bit ready, a little more ready to fight things that don't fall prey to hurt more.
And the other side, Archfield only was able to afford 3 keys his first time through, just didn't have a lot of gold on hand, decided to go out, fight some more things, load up on keys after checking the second inn chest in Remulder, and now appears to be back on the exploration binge. Probably going to head home fairly soon, perhaps take a Death Warp here, and start checking the chest locations that he knows he's seen that were previously blocked by doors.
Yeah, Archfield probably would have loved to get some magic back, but did not have enough money, having spent it all on keys. The inn in Remulder actually costs more money than a single key, so if you have the money for keys, you will not have enough money left for the inn.
Level 11 for Archfield gives a whopping 2 MP in addition to some strength and agility, so not much help there for the MP pool. Comment also from chat asking how to donate to give monsters DL2 breath. Currently that is not available, but I'm sure we can ask McGrew to get some crowd control favorability in there, maybe for a future event.
Yeah, it's actually probably something you could tack on to the randomizer. There's a couple of bits that control what abilities enemies have, so if you can flip those on the runners, they can just learn DL2 Matrix style, the Dragonlord Breath. Yep, and Archfield gets a sword, not far behind Angel, so that advantage already gone for Angel in the early keys. So Angel is in the grave, Garen's grave, which would normally be behind the Garenham Town Hall if things were not shuffled in the randomizer, but here they are shuffled, and there are 6 potential chests. Angel's found an herb at least in one of those spots, and there's at least 3 more to check. There's also a staircase, which in this particular seed could go absolutely anywhere, so we'll have to see where it takes Angel.
Yep, 3 more checks here on the top floor for Angel, while Archfield is clearing out Tanthagil, is going to see Tablet Cave here in the basement, We'll learn that it connects back to the location he's already been in the mountain cave. Perhaps we'll decide to set up a gold grind for himself along the way. He will not have to grind quite as much because he already has Erdrick's sword in hand, but that's just a minor time save.
Yeah, I expect Archfield will definitely figure out there's enough chests to get that memory glitch and get infinite gold, and we'll set that up as soon as possible. Have to kind of reset things here because the gold chest has already been opened, so you have to do that one last in this case. But yeah, that will be a very urgent thing for Archfield to do to get that armor that Angel is currently wearing. So Angel is in Charlock Castle. These floors do contain the 10 enemies that the randomizer has decided are the toughest of the seed. So we'll see what Angel runs into here. Red slime. That's one of our early guesses for something here. So yeah, usually not one of the 10 toughest, but with the completely randomized enemy stats, that's the story of today. It could be anything.
Back-to-back crits for Angel as well. We've seen very few physical attacks with hurt at level 1 and hurt more as well, so definitely way over 3% for Angel so far on that crit rate. You'll love to see it. He also picks up the death necklace there in that hub floor chest on Charlock 1. Probably not gonna get play here in this flag set, but you never know.
So Angel has actually passed through some Charlock stairs and ended up on what would be one of the bottom floors of the grave. So this enemy set is actually back to being truly random, not biased towards the toughest enemies, so maybe a little more survivable. There's 2 locations that can have chests here, and there's yet another staircase to explore. So Angel almost through this floor and onto another.
If the Drakey lets him live, which it does not. Murder bats everywhere.
Archfield has actually gotten away from a Wraith Knight. I saw it a couple minutes ago. Archfield put it to sleep and ran. So I think that's the first time I've seen anyone survive a run-in with that Wraith Knight. And maybe that's its weakness.
It very well could be. I've seen him try Hurtmore a couple of times. That was a no dice. But sleep, that's pretty important. Also, you've probably seen on both sides as well, the Radiant spell really coming in clutch, being able to see across those walls, as Brian mentioned earlier, and being able to identify exactly where some chests are that they can access, but maybe you don't have to walk around to see that the chest is or isn't there, or seeing a chest across that you can't access here, but you know if you see the floor later, I know there's something to explore for here or not.
Yeah, a lot of the bigger floors have 2 ways in and actually kind of are segmented, so but you can look across from one segment to another if the spell of Radiant's on. The one chest you can't see here is behind the wall where the princess is being held captive, so Radiant explicitly comes up short in all directions, which is why this chest in particular is placed where it is. You cannot see it without defeating the boss that defends the princess, so let's see if Archfield goes for it.
Angel did pass up on even checking the spike tile here, so we're going to get some new information. We've seen a couple of Charlock enemies, some scarier than others. If Archfield pursues it, which, okay, looks like he is. Passed the turn off there, I thought maybe he was going to dip out.
Saving all his magic points, potentially for this fight. It's a Wraith Knight. I don't think we're getting through this.
No, not what you want to see. I mean, he now has Erdrick's sword, so he could try to swing at it and maybe not do 1 damage. Or discretion is the better part of valor, and he runs away.
Run away, brave Archfield. Yep, I think we're just going to leave that chest and hope it's empty or non-existent, and come back way, way later when there is no other hope. I think we did mention the red slime is one of the Sharlock enemies. And actually that gives our runners, maybe Angel who's seen this, a little bit of hope that there aren't 10 enemies like the Wraith Knight out there, and maybe only the 2 Wraith Knight and Magidrake that are so mean, and maybe the top 10 are actually not so tough this time. So yeah, I think that's what we'll be looking for. I'm writing down what I see, trying to figure out exactly how tough this Sharlock might end up.
Question from chat asking who has and who needs what. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. I believe both of our runners right now in terms of progression items are in the same spot. I believe both of our runners have Erdrick's Token, Erdrick's Sword, and are still in need of the stones, the harp, the location of the Jerk Cave. I think we've seen the Staff Cave on both sides. We also have not found Erdrick's armor. So lots of things still to check, lots of things still to be secured.
Yeah, and I think they have the Fighter's Ring. The Death Necklace is something only Angel has found, but of course is probably one of the least important key items in this flag set. So yeah, they're pretty equal on discovery. They have found all of the chest locations potentially in Mountain Cave, which is a lot of them. I think we're really just looking for a couple of chests in the grave segments that haven't been accessed yet. Archfield already finding the top floor of grave, so that will even things up. I think this is where the Death Necklace was found by Angel.
Yes, not on the top floor here, but it was in the hub floor of Sharlock Basement 1 that connects to the top floor here.
Yeah, so Archfield will have to be brave and go through some of these Sharlock floors that have some of the tough enemies, but will be rewarded with safer passage on the other side if you can make it through these 20 steps or so. Question in chat, have we seen any searches? We have seen the search in Cole. I believe that had the Erdrick's Token early on, and both runners have found that. So it's the only one we have not found Hawksness, and we have not found Cantlin, each of which has a search spot that you can get to through either defeating an enemy in Hawksness or finding these coordinates where an item has been buried on the map.
Speaking of one of those towns, I think Angel is going to give us a look at one of those two right now if he can get past the night. He's just a few steps outside of a town that we have yet to see.
This is definitely the better one.
Probably. At least you can get the coordinates here, most likely. Can't imagine he's going to take an accidental death on the barrier tiles. Plenty of MP and the heal spell. We do have the possibility of a treasure chest down in the southwest corner as well. Yes.
We're buying radishes today. They are fresh and cheap.
4, 5, 6. All right, full... Oh, no, we're going over full radishes.
I think Angel's in the loop. Okay, he's got all the radishes he needs for the seed. We're off. Archfield was dropped by the Drakey, which looks like it's one of our 10, so I'll write that one down. And has to go back into the grave. Oh boy, look at those coordinates.
Yeah, those are... I'm trying to think. We couldn't go west at the start, but we could go south. Likely countable. I mean, it's pretty close anyway, but we will have to do a little bit of a C shape to do that. Shouldn't be a problem for Angel. It just depends whether he's going to go and do that now. My guess is no. We were fairly close to the western edge of the map at the start, so since he's on the very eastern side, probably going to continue to explore, see if he can find the missing town of Hawksness. Stone's Cave is also still out there with the possible 3 treasure chests. And of course, we have not found, I don't believe, the Rainbow Drop turn-in either.
Yeah, I was really hoping for much more difficult coordinates because the princess who gives you the Gwaelin's Love, which tells you your location relative to start, helps you count that coordinate no matter how difficult it is. It's of course guarded by the Wraith Knight, which we know is unkillable so far. But yeah, these coordinates are very easy to get to. You can almost see it from the start. You just have to do a little walking south.
Angel opting to continue exploration as expected, looks to be stumbling upon possibly our 2 missing locations. I don't think we've actually seen the south end of Swamp Cave, so it's possible that that could be there as well. While Archfield does the gold grind, probably going to pick up, 22,500 gold or so to pick up his defensive equipment.
Yeah, it still has the experience lead, so as much as Angel has found, it's still a very close race. They're both the same level here once Angel kills a couple red slimes. Well, that's the find. The red slime was guarding Erdrick's armor, which completes the set for Angel of all the best gear. And we still can't get into Charlotte Castle, but now Angel is as strong as possible for the rest of the seed. Oh, and there's 2 more caves.
Welp, that answers that question.
So we're looking for the Silver Harp, and we're looking for the Stones of Sunlight. And we could see either of those on those coordinates. So here's Angel counting to get around there. But we still need 2 things, so this 1 coordinate check won't get us into Charlock yet. I think Angel might have actually flipped the south and west around, went quite a bit west and not as far south. So we'll see if we should reset, try that again here.
He's combing the desert. There it is.
Yep, so you can drop the fighter's ring once you've equipped it once. The game doesn't care if you actually have it in your possession. The +2 strength is permanent, so you can throw it away, which Angel did. And now, has the Silver Harp, can do this trade right here and turn it in for the Staff of Rain, which is one component of the Rainbow Drop. We still need the Stones of Sunlight, which of course is an important part of rainbows, and then we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, it appears to be that way. I think he's going to have to head back to the grave and access the hub floor on Sharlock 1. Because I don't, with the exception of the princess chest, if there is one, I think that has to be where progression lies, unless that southeast staircase in the mountain cave leads to something that goes somewhere.
Yeah, the way they all left that and haven't gone back makes me think that maybe is one of the dead end rooms that has no potential chest locations. And so they haven't gone back, because I would not want to do Sharlock before something easier and closer if you could find it. So the fact that they didn't go right back to that first floor that they went to makes me think it was a nothing.
And I think Archfield just did locate Swamp South, which is just also in the area. So this is a one continent system, which we kind of figured based on what we've seen so far.
Yeah, so chat saying the Wraith Knights are literally unkillable. It is very possible that they are effectively unkillable, but that's nothing that 30 levels can't solve. Yeah, once you have 130 attack power, you're guaranteed to damage even the highest defense enemies, and from there, your attack actually goes up. 10, 20, 30 damage is possible, but you might need to get a lot of levels to do it.
Yeah, the other big component of that fight, if the Wraith Knight does turn out to be blocking progression, we don't know, we've still got a lot of possibilities still. Heal more. Could be good.
Yeah, chat pointing out, we know it can be put to sleep, which is the only way to get 2 turns to its 1. Otherwise, you might have to use a heal more every time it attacks you. We also have Magru pointing out that Fairy Water does do 9 to 16 damage. Unfortunately, with consistent stats, we know that something as strong as that Wraith Knight probably also has maybe 200 hit points. So you're going to need a much more sustainable long-term damage plan than the Fairy Water, which might help you get a good start, but you're going to have to keep hacking away for some time. I mean, you might never have to fight one. If you don't need that chest behind the princess, you can just run away from them all with sleep. And if it's not guarding, if it's not the guard in front of the Dragon Lord, you also don't have to fight them anywhere else. So that is the last required fight in the game, is that one fight in front of the Dragon Lord, and you just really hope it's not a Wraith Knight. So I think Archfield has gone pretty far east on this map, where we started on the west side. I think needs to go a little further east and north, and we'll start to find some of those last places that Angel got to, including the all-important Hawksness with the Erdrick's armor location. So hopefully Archfield can make it that far without being stopped by one of our worst enemies here. But we'll see.
Yeah, he really needs to get into Caitlyn, into Hawksness as quickly as possible. So since Angel has already been there, he's had the opportunity to fight a little bit more, and really, I mean, that experienced lead that Archfield has maintained pretty much throughout the seed has completely evaporated and flipped. Well, almost flipped.
You know, I think that Red Slime, the mini boss Red Slime, as funny as that is to say, on the Hawksness guard tile might be the best fight. And I know Angel is working in that direction right now. They're actually almost next to each other on the map. And I wouldn't be surprised if they both end up settling on that Red Slime for quite some time.
Yeah, especially, well, Archfield may or may not. I think the thing that may keep Archfield from doing that immediately is simply because he's going to want to find out that Caitlyn search tile. And it depends on whether or not he can take out everything he needs to take out as well. If he's thinking that that's going to be my last piece of progression item, then he may choose not to. But if he's out here, it really would be, I think, a good idea and behoove him to, both of them, really, to at least try to pick up heal more before advancing any further.
Yeah, so if you're Archfield and you find the armor, you have the sword and the armor, you are not going to find anything that makes you stronger. So if you have the option to get levels for continuing out in the world, it might be it's kind of a safe play to just sit there and get levels before you've done what we call all your homework, right? Finding all the items, trading things into the rainbow drop. But sometimes just getting levels and not dying so much is just a really nice feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw him dedicate himself to the grind earlier in the season. It did serve him fairly well. It's just Angel has been just a little bit quicker to some of those key progression points. Finding the keys first, finding the sword first, finding the armor first. Archfield is still keeping that narrow lead, but Angel really has the opportunity here to dig into that pretty quickly if Angel doesn't find those progression items soon.
Yeah, and in Archfield you can see using herbs instead of using the heal spell. This is I think I'm very far from home and I need to stay alive, so I've got to keep as much magic as possible and use herbs for healing, even though those need to be repurchased at like a very slow pace in a shop later. So Archfield definitely wants to make this exploration run work and is trying to stretch it out as long as possible to find these last places.
While we have a moment, just a reminder that this is a marathon event and it is a fundraiser for the Liam Foundation. We have some links here in the chat that you can access to donate if you choose. Lots of incentives coming up in upcoming events and upcoming races and such, so feel free to take those and see if something catches your fancy. It's a very good charity, and hopefully we can help raise some money for them.
Yeah, I can. They're based out of Rockford, Illinois, and their mission is to encourage, assist, heal, and empower our LGBTQI+ community through respect, advocacy, and passionate hearts to promote thriving in society. So, one thing they have going on is on July 10th they'll be opening their new office, and that's where the kind of last mile construction work is what some of the money we're donating here is going to go towards.
Well, that's awesome. It's great to hear, and it's great to see the Final Fantasy Randomizer community putting on an event, letting us come along and show you some other randomizers and help raise some money. So, very excited to be here and participating.
Absolutely, we're very excited to have you.
Well, our runners have both kind of entered that phase of the game where just kind of wandering around hoping to find something a little bit different than what they've seen so far. Angel is going through all these staircases. I don't know what name you give this kind of room, Diabetes, but I call them the shuffler rooms because they can just take you anywhere with the multitude of staircases at your fingertips. And Angel finding a room that goes nowhere and has nothing. Very exciting.
Yeah, I've been calling them hub floors, but I mean, there's this one in particular, 5 staircases. Obviously, we came from one, 4 possible destinations. I think he's seen or been to a couple of them. That was one that he had not yet explored. We saw at least a couple of others previously. He's just looking for one of those possible chest locations that remain. There aren't very many left. I want to say, from what we've seen so far, of course, there's the princess chest. We have a couple of possibilities in the grave that we have yet to see. So the vanilla harp chest. I think there's another one on that 3rd floor as well that we've yet to see. We have Tablet Cave 2nd floor with a couple of chest locations. And then there's maybe 4 or 5 other possible locations in Sharlock on some of the intermediate floors. Can't be the bottom floor, but we do have a couple of other locations that it could be. And he's just trying to find a staircase that leads to something. Praying, of course, that Wraith Knight doesn't have to be progression.
Yeah, that's just, I kind of think we all are. As much as we like to see runners be challenged, that Wraith Knight is very scary. So let's hope it's not behind the Wraith Knight, unless chat really wants to spend all night here.
I'm sure chat can help us brainstorm some ideas while our runners grind 15 levels over the course of the next hour and a half. You know, we'll figure out something to chat about.
Yeah, it looks like Archfield is actually kind of... Where's Archfield going here? This is Cole, so we've been here a bunch. Maybe this is like just trying to get Heal More. You have only 3 levels left that Heal More could come at. It has to be there by 16, so if you're Archfield, maybe you're just sick of dying, and Heal More would help a lot with that.
Oh, it would. I was really surprised, actually, that Angel did not do that before heading into kind of the cave maze, as it were. Knowing that he's got potentially a bunch of Sharlock floors to explore, knowing there's going to be some very challenging enemies, those that he might not be able to run from or can do a lot of damage, and Heal More could certainly be a big benefit to successfully getting through that exploration.
We've seen Hurtmore is very successful against the red slime. Archfield has taken out 2, now 3, seems to be kind of pacing where the red slimes are. Does not know that Hawksness has an infinite supply of them, where you don't even have to walk to get them, but has definitely settled on a red slime grind, not knowing it's already the best option available.
Yeah, it really would be a big benefit to him if he were to continue the exploration and find that. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if he's just missed the turnoff, because it seemed like he explored the eastern edge of the map and just didn't quite find the turnoff to get to those locations. His Cantlin's not far away either for healing, if he were to dedicate himself to that grind now. But I do like the fact that he's grinding. I think that's the right call.
Yeah, it's definitely the right call. You need Heal More. You can't win the game without it. So in a seed like this, you're not really worried about getting too many levels. There's too many unknowns. So any good experience grind is one that is really tempting to just sit on and wait. So Angel finds the single location in Sharlock that normally has the sword in the original game, but today has nothing.
He's running out of places to check. I'm not sure if there were any other staircases he has yet to see there. He was out of MP, so he outsided out. He had several floors that he would have to backtrack through in order to get there. Yeah, if that's it, it might be the place that we don't want to talk about.
Actually, our runners are running normal experience levels. So they know where the experience levels are. They actually are just higher than even the standard Dragon Warrior randomizer normal experience. Shouldn't use the word normal. We run very fast experience even for races in like our summer tournament. They're running normal experience, which is 25% more, 33% more experience for each level. So grinding is going to take even that much longer today.
Chat pointing out as well, Angel did see the Magiwyvern in Sharlock. That was a pretty lucrative enemy that really couldn't do any damage. It appeared to be defense broken, went down to 2 sword swings. We haven't seen it on a spike tile. I don't think we've seen it anywhere on the overworld, but that could be a winning enemy if it were to be findable in a reasonable zone somewhere on the overworld.
I was just going to say the Demon Knight looked pretty good. 2 swings, it died. But it's in the same zone as our friend the Wraith Knight, so that's not the grind today. I really think Archfield has done a great job here. The enemies are all killable, and they don't kill in return. So you're pretty happy just kind of pacing these tiles and taking what you can get.
Yeah, that 300 or 400 XP lead he was clinging to suddenly ballooned up to about 1400. And not only a big stat level, we have the magical spell of Heal More on Archfield's side at level 14.
Will it be enough to hit the road again? I think Archfield really wants to find those 2 last search spots. So the red slime in Hawksness and the coordinates check that comes from Cantlin, because those could give you the armor. We know gives you the silver harp, gets you much closer to finishing the game, even if the levels don't quite feel like that yet.
Yeah, no question. I mean, again, for all he knows at this point, one location, Hawksness, could have the silver harp, and the coordinates, if they exist for him, could be the stones, and Charlotte could lead directly to the bottom floor where he finds his armor. He has no idea, and that's a very real possibility for him that he doesn't need to cave dive, at least in his mind. So he really needs to get over to those locations ASAP. We know that that's not going to pan out, but he does not know that.
I just thought, I've never been unhappy to see Erdrick's armor ever, but actually in this case you might be slightly unhappy because it means the other story item you need is buried somewhere in those stairs.
Who doesn't like a good spelunking?
Well, you do know that all 3 of those items are required to beat the game, and there's only 2 searches left, so you know one of them is in a chest, but you are hoping that the chest will be easily findable on the bottom floor of Charlock, which would allow the armor to be there. There's about 9 locations on just that bottom floor of Charlock that can have chests, so it becomes a very dense, quick place to look for things. Today we'll have nothing, but in Archfield's mind, it could still be in play.
Angel doing exactly what I thought he'd do a bit earlier, hitting the red slime grind in Hawksness. Archfield, that 2,000 plus XP lead he built over the last 10 or so minutes is really going to be dug into unless he gets there soon. He also just needs the progression items that Angel has already located. He's got some exploring and cave diving to do as well, so just have to see how things work out for him. If he doesn't get stuck in the trap of digging out all of those chests, it's possible still that he can come from behind here, and I can't even say come from behind. He's up 2k in the XP. Who's ahead and who's not is really difficult to assess now.
The Wraith Knight's still ahead, but
True,
hopefully the Wraith Knight has different victory conditions than the runners here, and they're not at odds directly in that last fight at Charlock. That's the one that we have not seen, where the Wraith Knight could really ruin everything.
Yeah, that could be bad. That could be the real final boss right there, but just have to see. Then again, we may have a real final boss right out here in the swamp cave. We don't know.
Yeah, and we haven't mentioned what random stats does to the Dragon Lord. So normally the Dragon Lord in the vanilla game has 130 hit points. In the randomizer, that's been bumped up to a range of 150 to 165. In random enemy stats, that goes to a range of 100 to 230. And the Dragon Lord might also learn Sleep. So the Dragon Lord is also a real wild card, and we of course know nothing about the Dragon Lord until we get there. So that's yet another way this race could be far from over.
Chad also bringing up the stat change possibility. We talked way back at the beginning that we had some incentives for tonight's race, and we have names of Liam and Thou for our heroes, and name, interestingly enough, impacts the hero stat growth in Dragon Warrior, and that's carried over in here into DWR as well. We don't have our tracker up, but we do have different stat builds for our different names as well. Liam's will, which is Archfield, will benefit Strength and HP, which is a standard build for most speedruns, including Randomizer. Thou, on the other hand, is an MP Agility build, so Archfield could be ready sooner than Angel. We'll have to see there as well.
Yeah, those builds that are not Strength and HP only really make any sense if you don't have to fight the Dragon Lord. But when you get to the Dragon Lord, Strength and HP are by far the most important things you need. So that build definitely favors Archfield here quite a bit.
Archfield finally makes it over to the East Coast, finds the town of Cantlin, picks up his coordinates, sees that there is no chest in the southwestern shop. Wouldn't be surprised again, just like Angel, that he continues the exploration here, looks for the missing locations that he's yet to find, which include Hawksness, the Jerk Cave, and the Stones Cave. Probably going to do that before digging out those coordinates, knowing that he needs to find at least 3 things to win the seed still.
Yeah, and now chat, just watch those experience numbers. It's 1,400 different now, and as Angel just keeps fighting red slimes, it's gonna get closer and closer, and then swing back the other way. It looks like here a little bit, while Archfield finds those places, counts those coordinates, and kind of comes to the realization that there's still an item that's going to be very difficult to find.
Interesting. Archfield checks the treasure chest spot in Hawksness and dips out immediately. Probably assuming the worst, that there's going to be another Wraith Knight on the spike tile, not wanting to get sent home, opting to check the cave locations first, getting the bad news here in the Stones Cave that nothing of consequence was found, and now about to head back to fight that mini-boss.
Yeah. Will be happily surprised by the red slime, but for now is very afraid.
Very afraid, and he's going to be happily surprised that it's there to kill and pick up the search tile, but I think he's going to be really disappointed that he could have been on this grind had he found this sooner and not opting for the red slime overworld grind instead. So, bit of a double-edged sword there for Archfield. Figuratively speaking, of course, because it was Erdrick's armor, not Erdrick's sword.
Yep, so taking some levels. The next level is at 10,000 experience. So a couple more red slimes, we'll get level 15, which at this point it's just more stats, but you'll always take more stats.
Yeah, especially with what we've seen in the overworld so far and what we know is going to be coming in Sharlock. If there are Wraith Knights anywhere, that's going to be a big problem. So more stats is definitely going to be beneficial. And I'm really glad to see Archfield stick around here. We'll have to see exactly how this plays out, if he's just going to pick up level 15 or if he continues the grind as well.
There's a lot of strategies runners take with things like this. You might use all your MP and die, take you back to start your coordinate count. You might actually walk over and get a refill from Cantlin nearby and come back and do this more. like I said, you know you need a lot of levels to beat the game, and you know this is going to be the best spot to do it. So it's just kind of a now or later decision, and where do you route that in? So Angel, of course, has less decision, knows this is really the only option until going back to look for that last chest somewhere. I think Archfield did a gold grind early on, so should be good on gear. Should have a silver shield. Does have 10,901 gold and experience, which is quite a challenging thing to pull off.
Yeah, having gold and EXP, it's completely meaningless. But to have them identical this late in a seed at that high of values, pretty impressive. And I believe he also... I know he did a gold grind. I didn't see him explicitly pick up his equipment, but I assume that he did.
Yeah, he did, and you can see he's not taking damage from that swamp tile. So, immune to barrier and swamp damage is another key feature of the Erdrick's armor.
Angel now pivoting to physical attacks on the red slime. Absolutely the correct play. Prior to, I'm not sure what level it was specifically that gave him the agility to do that. He had fought a few earlier and had hacked them down, was still taking damage, but MP efficiency, he could stay here after the next refill. He's got no MP left. Basically forever. He could probably grind both of them now. Could grind from level 15 to 30 without ever leaving. Hopefully they won't need to do that, but they could.
Yeah, so once you get that magical defense is higher than their attack range goes from, let's say, roughly a quarter of their attack minus your defense. I don't know, there's a formula. It goes to just 0 to 1/6 of their attack. So in this red slime's case, that's maybe like 0 to 10. So every fight you could take as little as 0 damage, and you can just sit here forever.
Archfield has not made that discovery because he keeps hurt mooring these enemies. He does not know potentially that they're defense broken. So advantage to Angel in that regard, because Archfield is going to burn through MP like crazy here. And since the MP pool isn't that big to start with, if he doesn't figure that out soon, Archfield's going to have to be walking back and forth to do these refills while Angel just hacks away.
Yeah. Archfield did see 3 damage from a red slime, so knows that their defense broken, but may decide that speed is of the essence. 1 hurt more versus 2 swings, and just pay the cost of getting more magic in Caitlyn.
Angel really doesn't have the choice with 0 MP. So that's also very, very true. It depends on how long he plans on sitting here on the grind as well. If he doesn't plan on grinding 7 levels out, it doesn't really make much difference. If he's planning on staying here, or not staying here for very long, burning the MP down and heading out, then probably better to do exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, Archfield definitely has that coordinate check in mind, so there's a little more to do in Archfield's head maybe, but seems very committed to the hurt more play, while Angel is not refilling magic and is just swinging away.
Yeah, and it makes sense. He has coordinates, which he knows are going to lead to one of the 2 things he needs, but the other is still at large somewhere. He's going to either have to cave dive into the grave, which we've seen earlier, and get to that hub floor on Charlock 1 and navigate through that, or seek out chests elsewhere, and he's probably not really looking forward to that. Probably wants to maximize the heal mores as much as possible, and since the MP pool is so thin, grinding seems to be the only option.
Yeah, question in chat. This red slime has almost exactly the same XP and gold reward that the Axe Knight has in the usual randomizer values, which come from the I think the Super Nintendo like remakes of Dragon Warrior, not the original NES version. It also is very susceptible to hurt more, which is very like the Axe Knight, and has right about the same number of hit points as the Axe Knight. I think a lot of that comes from the consistent stats flag, where enemies who have one stat of a certain value, all their other stats make sense. So this is a red slime that makes sense as an Axe Knight and has very similar characteristics across the board. It's a pretty fun flag because you don't end up with enemies that have 1 hit point and 255 agility and kind of other nonsensical things where maybe they're impossible to kill and they give you 1 experience. The downside is it creates some real abominations like the Wraith Knight here.
Did I see that correctly? Angel sold his silver shield for a small shield and then rebought the silver shield?
Yes, when you just have a lot of money, he turned in his money and got the same item out of it. So Angel having a little fun with all that money they're earning on the grind and just kind of shopping. Maybe getting a fresh silver shield that has no red slime goo on it.
There's the silver heart for Archfield. Took the death warp on the red slime grind, counted out his coordinates. So he is now at quest item number 2. He'll be probably doing his turn in for the silver harp here momentarily because the cave is nearby. And then he will have to make the decision, what do we do next? Are we back to the grind? Are we cave diving? He's got heal more, so that will definitely be a benefit over the struggles that Angel had. He'll also have higher stats. He may be repelling some of those Sharlock enemies if he chooses to cast Repel. See where he goes.
Do we know what attack power our runners have? Because I think Angel, maybe Archfield. Actually, Archfield tried to hit the Wraith Knight and hit for 1, which means they are for sure under 125 AP, but how close are they to getting into that guaranteed damage range? I don't know yet.
I haven't seen a status screen check, and without our usual tracker, I couldn't say. Although we do have a mention in chat that Archfield is at 129, potentially here at level 16.
Yeah, so that is 129 is more than half of 255, which is the most defense something can have, 127. So Archfield is in the quote-unquote guaranteed damage zone now, finally, but that damage is still 0 to 1. But it's a guaranteed 0 to 1. So that's better than the usual 50-50 0 to 1, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm not that good at math right now.
All right, let's be generous. Maybe the Wraith Knight only has 250 agility, so it only has 125 defense. So maybe, just maybe, we can do 1 to 2. How about that? That's like double, right?
Yeah, it's double. Could take only 100 turns to kill it. So, yeah, Archfield making the dive into this Sharlock maze of caves, and we'll see if we end up anywhere different than Angel. Obviously, we'll know if we ended up somewhere different if we find these Stones of Sunlight. Archfield, I think, has seen that chest. Now, it is the Death Necklace, I believe. Is that the one?
Yeah, that's the Death Necklace chest, and the southeast stairs there look like they head to, was that Sharlock 4, which does have 3 additional staircases, I believe Angel explored all of those, but I'm not 100% certain.
Every chest is potentially the end of the exploration for Archfield. But yeah, we're not there yet. This floor has 2 locations that can have chests. We're going to cast a Radiant to get a quick look at them. There's actually a location you can see from this floor that you can't get to from here that might have a chest. So Archfield can sort of see if that chest exists, but doesn't yet know how to get to that spot.
I don't know if Angel checked that or not. He came through here at least once without Radiant, I think. Well, doesn't matter. It's not there.
It's not there. But it does narrow it down, right? Every place that doesn't have a chest is somewhere you don't have to check.
Very true. Fortunately, again, same as we saw for the Princess chest, we cannot quite see the center location where the vanilla Silver Harp chest would be from that floor, so that's still in play.
So Angel now with the experience lead of about 500. But, it's going to have to get this chest. Maybe Archfield will get lucky and find a different path and wrap up the exploration. We don't know for sure if Angel has checked every box here and is guaranteed to know it's behind that Princess chest, but I think Archfield will show us a little bit more because we have more MP, we have more strength, we have more defense, so this dive should go a little longer than Angel's.
Do we have time for a donation?
Oh, absolutely.
So we have $50 from Vari saying, "Thank you for having us on for Hollow Knight. I had a blast. Please support this towards the FF6 incentive for my girlfriend's favorite character, Terra." So thank you, Vari. It's very generous. And that donation, of course, going to benefit the Liam Foundation that we are running our marathon here for today. Not only do they do their kind of outreach work and giving LGBTQIA plus youth somewhere to go in the Rockford area, but also was helping shelter people from states that were enacting anti-trans laws. So, some good work they're doing over there. And I'll turn it back over to you guys.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the donations. And yeah, we really appreciate being here and all the support the community is sharing with the Liam Foundation today and this whole weekend. So Archfield found a way to the last couple of spots that could have chests in what is known as the grave, although all these all these caves are connected with stair shuffle, is now honing in on the last set of stairs that we think could have anything. This has 3 staircases that are left for Archfield to check, and 1 chest that's just sitting right here.
There it is.
Just laying right there. You don't even have to go all those stairs. So that's huge. Archfield is done looking for things.
Yeah, that is really, really huge. Angel did go down that staircase, but he did not, or apparently did not, get around far enough on that floor. I know he checked at least to see what the staircase led to, but I didn't see that he walked it at all, and he certainly would have seen the treasure chest had he walked even just a handful of steps there to see it. So big advantage to Archfield. Hopefully Angel has been keeping track of which staircases he's gone down and which ones he hasn't, because if he thinks that the princess guards the stones, Archfield's in grind and go mode, or about to be.
Yeah, we know Angel ran out of MP and used the last bit to do outside from there. So Angel should know that there's some unexplored steps, but maybe facing 3 more staircases, all of which could lead to somewhere different. That was where Angel said, okay, I'm going to just get out, get some experience, refill, do this with a little more longevity in my dive. and so probably knows to come here next, but is going to get a lot of levels before doing it.
Yeah, definitely. I was headed out from the vanilla sword chest spot, and there were at least, I think, 2 or 3 staircases to go back up just to reach another hub floor where he could deviate from the path again. So it made sense at the time. But yeah, now Archfield can head right back to the grind. Angel's gonna continue the grind for now. We've seen a complete flip of the EXP lead. Archfield led after the earlier grind by about 2,000 or so XP. Angel now leads by about 2,000 or so XP. But Archfield has the things he needs. Angel does not.
Yep, and the place to create combine all of these to create the rainbow drop is right here by this red slime. So Archfield has just one place to go, and it's get the rainbow drop and get all these levels. So Angel will be fairly quick getting through Sharlock and all those stairs once the grinding phase is over, but it should give Archfield time to close, if not take the lead again in the experience race. See, I don't know my normal experience levels right off the top of my head. So what is 18? I'll try to figure it out.
I'll leave it to you. Some of us run this vanilla, and those numbers are burned into our brains, sadly.
Oh yeah, it's 19,000, and then it's 22,000, and then it starts going up 4,000 a level after that. So those levels get very tedious. Dozens of red slimes for each level from here.
Angel did quickly check his stats, but it was up for like 4 frames, and I didn't quite see it, unfortunately. So if anybody happened to clip or take note of that, great. Feel free to share in chat. But yeah, the grind continues at least for him, so he must think that he needs to do more. Again, not 100% sure if he realizes that he still has staircases to check or not. If he's thinking that he needs to kill that Wraith Knight, we'll have to see what he continues to do here as things go on. Meanwhile, Archfield tops off the MP, looks to head into the Jerk Cave, where he can do his Rainbow Drop turn-in, and then head back to the grind. Down a little over, looks like it's going to be close to 3,000 XP by the time he gets there.
Of course, why do we give that name to this old man? It's because if you go talk to him without all of the items that you need, especially the Erdrick's token, he immediately throws you out. You don't even get to walk out. He just warps you right back out, and he is not interested in talking to you anymore. So he gets the affectionate name of the Jerk, but usually people only talk to him when they have all they need, and he is quite happy to give you a rainbow drop in exchange. But yeah, here we see the deviation in approach to this red slime. Angel swinging, using very little MP. Archfield casting Hurtmore, which is a one-shot kill, but of course uses up your MP quite quickly. So we'll see if there's any kind of long-term trend we see in how this works, but it's kind of hard to say which is faster right now.
As we have our runners continuing to pace the same 2 tiles over and over and defeat red slime after red slime after red slime. Feel free in chat if you have any questions, comments, concerns, etc. regarding what you're seeing here, what you've seen throughout the race this evening. Of course, thanking the FFR community for inviting us in the DWR community to participate. I know Angel and Archfield were very excited and happy to contribute our time, energy, effort, etc. To the community. Both Angel and Archfield are administrators in the DWR community. Brian and I are as well, and we're happy to be here on behalf of the DWR community. Very happy to spend as much time as we can and do what we can to help out for this great cause.
Yeah, for sure. And we're super happy to have you here. And while chat maybe compiles our questions, let's go over a little bit of the current work that the Liam Foundation is going through now. So, excuse me. I did mention earlier that they are constructing a new office. This is to better support the community, including laundry facilities, storage areas, kitchen and dining areas, gender-neutral bathrooms, private office space, and overall will be 3 times their current space, which is supposed to open in just a couple weeks here on July 10th. They're investing in furniture and supplies for new office space to enable additional offerings. They have 2 part-time and their executive director as dedicated staff, and they have monthly support groups and bi-weekly LGBTQIA Dungeons and Dragons sessions. So lots of good work going on over there. They are centered out of Rockford, Illinois, and they do a lot of good work.
Yeah, I think we have plenty of time for talking about all the good things they're doing, and we have a lot of red slimes ahead. Now, Angel did just get to level 18, though. Maybe this changes everything with that 2 power, but I have a feeling that doesn't change anything at all.
Or Poltergeist is in the middle of fighting. We also just came in another $20 donation from Metal Dream that simply says less than 3. And less than 3 to you, Metal Dream, and less than 3 to chat.
Archfield did not buy any radishes. Maybe chat will be happy to know for those arriving just now. Angel bought 10 radishes earlier in the race. Is like fully stocked for this long grind. Will not be hungry.
So are the radishes for you, or for the slimes?
If that pacifies a Wraith Knight, maybe that would be wonderful. Maybe that's what we're going to need tonight. So,
Unfortunately, I think we were out of tomatoes, which really were the key to defeating the Wraith Knights. Unfortunately, our vendor was out, so we'll just have to deal without it.
Archfield's going in. Archfield's going into Charlotte Castle. There are 3 staircases. Any one of them might lead to the basement floor where the Dragon Lord lives. And we're going to find out soon how to get there.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few of the nastier locations. We have not seen the Grave 2 hub floor that has 6 staircases on it until... Nope, that's the spiral staircase. So that's still another possibility for us, is this could be a little bit nasty, but we've seen most of the bigger locations at this stage, so I don't expect this is going to be too honeycombing.
Yeah, we've seen a lot, and so it could even be a direct path. One of these 3 stairs could lead just straight to the Dragon Lord and make it a very short walk.
I think I said that was the spiral. I think that was actually Tablet 2 there on the right side.
Home to potentially 2 chests, but 2 chests we know would have nothing interesting. Do the runners have the fairy flute? Did they get that at the very beginning?
Yep, started with the fairy flute in the throne room. Both of them kept it. surprisingly.
They actually used it. There were golems in the starting zone, and Fairy Flute, no matter what the randomizer does, always puts a golem to sleep. So in a seed like this where there's random stats, sometimes the golem is actually quite difficult. It's nice to have the Fairy Flute. Sometimes they're the easiest enemy in the game, so you don't really need to use it.
Archfield using resources and fighting things along the way here, so I'm betting this is going to be a little bit of an exploratory dive and grind situation. He's just looking to see the path to the Dragon Lord. Speaking of the path to the Dragon Lord, it's right there.
Yeah, that's really very short. I mean, that's the left staircase and one little connector room, and then you're there. So we have to see what the spike tile is, which guards the Dragon Lord. About 12 steps in front of the Dragon Lord as a forced fight. If it's a red slime, like, you know, on this Hawksness tile, you're free to go. And if it's a Wraith Knight, you are free to go home.
Do not pass go, do not collect $200.
But if you can get by that Wraith Knight, or Red Slime, or whatever it may be, the Dragon Lord is very randomized. The seed can have sleep, can have heal more, can have heal, not heal more, right? But you want to see what the Dragon Lord might have and maybe come back with some knowledge a second time.
Absolutely, and let's not forget, the one enemy we haven't actually talked about that could be a major player here is actually in between those two. We always think about DL2, we've seen the Wraith Knights and the possibility of one being on the spike tile here, but what about Dragon Lord Form 1? DL1 can be just as nasty as the Wraith Knight, possibly worse. We will yet to see. Then again, it could also be a complete pushover that can't do any damage and dies in one swing. Speaking of things that die in one swing.
Yeah, the Drake is pretty tough. It's one of the 5 enemies I have written down that was a likely fight here. Running away is not working. Oh, there it goes. But we're here. We're at the Dragon Lord. Let's see what we got. We're looking to see how much damage does the Dragon Lord do on this first swing. That is everything you want to know right here for your Archfield.
Hurt is good. 59 HP gets the kill.
Okay, well, I mean, this might have a chance. We're going to throw a stop spell out in case the Dragon Lord has sleep. Did not work. We're going to try again, probably. Oh, no, we're going right to Fairy Water. Okay, so we are at 26 damage on the Dragon Lord, and the range can be anywhere between 100 and 230. So once we get across that 100 barrier, any damage could be the winning swing, or the winning Fairy Water in this case. So I think we're at 53, and then the last Fairy Water brings us to, I think, 68. Maybe Diabetes has a better count than me.
Nope, that sounds good to me. So 68
we're
level. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we're just swinging now the rest of the way.
It's 81 and now 91. Just 2 heal millers left. Plenty of swings, though.
Yeah, this could be it. I mean, it could be a really easy fight. We're in the range where any swing could win.
It's 102, now 116. Opting to swing on 45. 126. Survives. Last heal more.
And now the last swing.
No, I believe 145 did not clear the range and kill the Dragon Lord there. Archfield takes the death.
A lot of good info, though. You didn't see any spells from the Dragon Lord 2 form. Killed Dragon Lord 1 very quickly. The Guardian fight is not a Wraith Knight. You can get through it fairly easily. So I think if you're Archfield, you get some keys because there is a key door in the way, and you just go right back at it. Maybe you pick up level 18, but I think you've got to be thinking, let's just do it again, and maybe we'll get lucky the next time.
He was down, I think, 2 heal mores there because of the stop spell cast and spell usage earlier, so he could have another couple 3-4 swings in that fight. He's going back in without Fairy Waters, so that is something to keep in mind. But yeah, honestly, I like this play. He didn't see the heal spell, we didn't see a sleep spell, so he's not going to waste time with stop spell most likely. He did 145 damage. So unless DL2 just didn't cast heal, he would have to have over 200 max HP for him not to have an opportunity to cast it. Can't cast heal unless the enemy has less than 25% of its max.
Yep. So you're pretty confident if you're Archfield that there's no heal spell in there either. So yeah, let's just do it again. Let's see what we get to. See if luck works a little better. That last swing was a 7, which I think is right at the bottom of the possible damage range. So there's upside left here.
For sure, and chat pointing out, definitely a possibility that he decides to take level 18 here first. This red slime spike tile, certainly within range for him, although he's running from the red slimes along the walk here, so perhaps he's just going to go straight at it.
Yeah, I think we'd need 8 red slimes for the next level, which we know isn't a very great level. Angel got it not too long ago. So, Archfield doesn't know it, but it could be a big level. Maybe if this fails again, you'll need to get one more level and try.
I really like this play as well. With 160 max HP, that's more than you need for double attacks. The Death Necklace, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with Randomizer, it's only a feature of Randomizer, deducts 25% of the hero's max HP in favor of 10 extra attack power. So Archfield has just increased his attack range by a couple of points, and still will have likely double attacks.
Yeah, double attack just being you can swing twice before you need to use heal more, and you need quite a lot of HP to absorb 2 hits from the Dragon Lord and not be in a dangerous spot to die. And yeah, it's a nice thing when you can get those extra attacks.
50 damage so far, taking the risky swing at 47, surviving on 1 HP.
Yeah, these are very risky swings. The Dragon Lord can do 48 damage with the breath, so 47 is dicey. It is only 1 in 8 that the breath is that powerful, but you hate to be sent home when you have a good fight going.
Yeah, absolutely. But early in the fight, at least reasonable to take those risks now. Get yourself ahead on the fight. Taking another swing at 47.
No!
Oh, no!
Okay, well, that's what happens. You tempt fate 3 times, and the Dragon Lord finally gets that 48.
Tempt not the fates, Archfield. Tempt not the fates.
So now we're wearing the Death Necklace, which means you are cursed. The king throws you out without wanting you to curse the castle any further. So you need to walk yourself to an inn and get your own healing. The king will not heal you up for you.
Oh, that is absolutely devastating.
I mean, it could have paid off. All those extra attacks, right, between heal mores would have made a huge difference in the outcome. I think Archfield will do exactly the same thing. I don't think Archfield will change, so 47, look for those swings, but it's always a scary place, especially when you see the breath text show up because you know 48 could follow.
Yeah, and not knowing what their defense stat is specifically, We don't even know if 47 is on the table for a physical attack. I mean, at this level, fully cured, it's possible that the range is only maxing at 46, but yeah, that's just you hate to see that.
We've been focusing on Archfield, obviously coming very close to victory here. Angel is now decided that's enough levels at level 19, almost 20, and is going looking for the Stones of Sunlight one more time.
So, if I may cut in again with another donation,
Please
we
do.
do have $21.82 from 3 that simply says 3, which I'm pretty sure is going to bring our total up to $3,353.33.
Three is a wonderful number. Thank you for that donation.
Yes, thank you.
And there's Angel getting the Stones of Sunlight. And this might mean Archfield's last chance to win before Angel is right behind, going after the Dragon Lord.
Yeah, Angel did know right where to go. Again, probably the only staircase he had yet to explore. He knew the hub floor was there. We just weren't sure if he recalled that specifically, but I think the information is clear. Meanwhile, Archfield is getting absolutely demolished by this Armored Knight. Won't let him run, won't die. Gets away narrowly, because the Armored Knight kept casting Stop Spell.
Angel is trying to throw away the Fairy Flute, but it is much too important to throw away. You know, it can actually put this very easy golem to sleep. It's a little bit of a meme in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer community now that you just don't want the flute. It's just so not useful most of the time. Just get rid of it, but once you have it, you're stuck with it. So Angel off to trade in the other items, but stuck with the flute. Yes, and in this case, it's true. If you want to use Fairy Water to do a little bit more damage to the Dragon Lord, Fairy Water is more effective than even having 134 attack, which is probably very close to where Angel is now. That Fairy Water cannot fit in the slot the Fairy Flute takes up.
Alright, while Angel goes and gets his Rainbow Drop, Archfield has made it back to the Spike Tile and is opting to take level 18 here, looking for some stat gains. Still a little bit dicey on the HP. You're going to have to burn, heal more, or at least the rest of his herbs to get back close to full. We'll get the bad news that level 18's no great shakes, and probably head back into the Dragon Lord fight.
Hey, Angel's actually going back to the grind. I think we're just very, very close to the next level. It's under 1,000 experience. Angel's going to take this level and then sprint over to Sharlock. I believe Archfield got 2 HP out of that level. But hey, I guess you'll take what you can take.
Alright, speaking of 3, Dragon Lord fight number 3 for Archfield. Opens with 15 and 31. $41 and a safe attack opportunity. 57. Poor heal more, but still okay. 74.
Angel about to get level 20, so let's see if at least some good stats for all that grinding. 2 attack, 2 response speed, 4 hit points, and 8 magic. Well, that's 1 extra heal more. Can't complain about that. Let's see if Angel calls it a day. No, still grinding. well, we can talk about why this is kind of required for Angel later, but it's definitely a donation effect, we'll say.
Archfield, I believe, up to 109, opting not to swing at 46 there. 123. $137. $156. Any swing could be the killing blow.
And we're in new territory here, so we haven't seen this much damage yet.
176. Another safe double opportunity. 186.
Okay, can only be 230. We're closing in.
But last heal more. 200. Final swing. 220.
GG Archfield. Oh, we're gonna walk back to. We're not even gonna cast Repel. The swag walk here back to the start. And congratulations, Archfield. We said 2 hours, and it took 2 hours and 3 minutes. So, well done on the estimate. Well done on the race.
And thus the tale comes to an end unless the dragons return again. Archfield Monk, winner of tonight's showcase race. Somewhere around, 2:03. I think the timer started a little bit late. Probably around 2:03:40. Fortunately, we have our stat screen to tell us for sure.
Yep, and Angel still fighting red slimes. So why Angel had to fight red slimes? And I think this is the name Thou favors having higher agility and MP late in a race. And of course, every little bit of strength is critical for that fight, needing 220 damage. So Angel having a build based on the name that gives you less strength is kind of forced to grind for more levels to make up for that difference, and needs to keep fighting these red slimes to get there. So let's see the stats. They're rolling by. Maybe the next time around, we'll see how many red slimes are fought and how many Wraith Knight deaths Angel suffered.
2:03:34, the official finish time there. 50 bonks. Nice round number. 79 red slimes encountered, 77 killed.
And that number is going to be even higher on Angel's side. Angel is thousands of experience higher at this point. And I think while Angel kind of finishes up here, we have Archfield joining us to talk a little bit about that race. So Archfield, we've said a lot. GG, why don't you tell us a little bit about how that race went?
I think it's fair to say that went considerably better than it had any right to.
How much fear did you have when you got that really early Wraith Knight encounter?
Lots, but not, I mean, like right away when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is a bad monster. This is going to be a potential Charlock monster. I wasn't really concerned until I saw it on the Spike and Swamp Cave. Because then I'm like, okay, so it's Spike tile eligible. If this thing, and then like late in the seed, I kind of got one there as I was coming out of Hawksness, right? And I put it to sleep, and I'm like, okay, let's see what we can do against this. And I had 129 attack power, and I did 1 damage to it. And I went, oh no, this will be a real problem. Because then I tested, like while I was on my way to Grave, I tested it again, and I tested the Hurtmores because I hadn't landed a Hurtmore all seed. I think I'd tried maybe 3 times, and I think I was 0 for 6 or 0 for 7. And I'm just like, if this thing, we're going to have to grind like 150 attack power. Angel's sitting there on an MP build, he's actually never going to finish. It's just, we're toast if this is on the Charlock Spike. So
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, above average. Great.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that was a concern.
Yeah. And we were, of course, in chat and comms here, really wondering, was that chest potentially where the princess is being held captive behind that Wraith Knight? Was that where the stones were? So how much was that running through your head late in the game?
That was all of it. I mean, I that was there too because I thought I went to check that chest pretty early. I usually do when random chest locations are on. I'm gonna pop in and see what's on that spike tile. And when I saw it was the Wraith Knight, I just went, I have to fade this check until after I'm done grinding. I don't think I can beat this Wraith Knight. As it turned out, that was very correct, at least in terms of not being able to beat the Wraith Knight. I mean, I, I don't. You would have to have. That was probably a near max. I mean, it was basically a metal slime that could hit for 100.
Yeah, it was unkillable. I mean, it was probably unkillable
It
in
was
all.
probably unkillable within
Yeah.
the time frame, within the allotted time. That was an unkillable enemy.
It may still be unkillable at the current level.
Putting on the death necklace to fight the Wraith Knight actually might have been required. I mean, it's one of those silly things that happens only 1 in 100 seeds, but this might have been the seed you need to do it.
Yes, because you have to get, if it's max agility, you have to get beyond that threshold. I'm sure you've talked about this already, but that that 131 is an important mark because the damage formula works out that you basically doing 0 to 1 damage. It's like a coin flip to do a damage. And given that its agility and attack power were that high and we've got consistent stats on, you have to also assume that the hit points are probably through the roof. So even if you take attack where you say, okay, I'm going to try to hit these low percentage hurt mores, there's no guarantee that you get through that in 2 hurt mores or even 3 hurt mores. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's basically an unkillable enemy.
Well, luckily, it stayed only in our nightmares and not in reality here. Angel was one red slime away from the next level. Might just pick it up on the way to Sharlock here now. And maybe we'll take a stab at the Dragon Lord. Again, the stats check is just so fast when you're on comms, but I think we're looking at something around 128 attack power maybe for Angel right now. Yeah, so 86 strength. Yeah, that should be 128.
Yeah, and you needed basically every drop of that to get there. I counted 220 on DL2.
Yeah, so now
And
Angel has quite a lot more magic than you had with those extra levels and the MP build. So we'll get a lot more. Oh, and just got 23
oh,
MP.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's set.
Yeah, he's good. He doesn't know for sure because he hasn't seen it, but he knows you finished, so it can't be a Wraith Knight in the way. Is basically
Right,
all you
right,
know.
because I would yes, that's exactly what you know.
But yeah, you really had to do everything in this seed. So for people who are kind of new to Dragon Warrior Randomizer, they are not all this difficult. This is a set of flags that our two runners chose because they really do stretch you to the max with challenge here, and they're not all that tough. But this one was pretty tough. Anything else that kind of stuck out for you is really kind of challenging getting going in this seed?
Not really. I mean, I think when you start with hurt, I mean, that probably on its own shaved, I don't know, half an hour off the seed. Um, and it gives you a little bit of knowledge too. Not that you can't get, because one of the flags that was a flag that's heal and hurt before more. So that means that you're going to get those smaller spells, heal and hurt, before you get their much more powerful counterparts. So when you start with hurt, though, that means hurt more can show up at any time, and they can show up on the same level, so that's true always. But when you see the hurt spell, first of all, like Zone Zero just had some great enemies. You could hurt all those and take them out. So honestly, like for a consistent chaos seed, based on the ones I'd kind of run in practice, uh, this really wasn't that bad. I mean, and this is, I think, maybe the first time in one of these that I've seen a spike tile that you can actually fight because I was just sitting there grinding in the overworld on the expectation that I'd have to, maybe get through something tougher. And when I got to Hawksness, and then when I found the red slime there, I went, oh man, I probably just I probably just burnt 10 minutes that I didn't have to, because I just could have been sitting here grinding this instead on the spike tile instead of in the overworld.
Yeah, we figured after you had done that extensive grind before finding those three or four critical locations at the very end, that while your grind was fantastic because it was featuring that red slime, you're going to be happy to find the armor and happy to see a red slime, but secretly, exactly, that the efficiency of the previous grind was not quite there.
Yeah, so at least in that sense, I was a little displeased in the last location, all that stuff too, but nothing you can do about that part of it. Um, Single continent was interesting. The map was actually kind of on the smaller side. There was not much to see, and it was, fairly easily navigable except for the stray Wraith Knights when you ran into them.
Yeah, I see your stat screen is paused, but I think really Wraith Knight and then Magic Drakey were the only two kind of like extremely powerful enemies that were in this seed at the end of the day. The Drakey was decently powerful, and honestly, the Red Slime was maybe top 5 and not that tough.
Yeah, no, I've got, because I keep a pretty detailed track of the things that I've seen, and the only two monsters that I did not see all seed were a metal scorpion and a stone man, and everything else I saw. And, for the most part, they were all, kind of chumps. Um, the monsters, there were some pretty decent ones in the low hundreds that you could just single hurt more, or even a couple swings and be done with them. But yeah, it was those two, and then that random. I just got that one armored knight on my last dive that I had not seen all seed, and all of a sudden it popped up on my third Charlock attempt, and I went, "Where did this come from?" And it was pretty tough. If it didn't have stop spell, I would have had to burn a heal more against that, but it cast stop spell 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, I noticed the armored knight, and I noticed you couldn't get away, but since we had never fought one, we didn't have a lot of intel on it other than it must be somewhat difficult because here it is in Charlock. Angel is trying sleep on the Dragon Lord. It's not likely to work. It's 1 in 16, but Angel must be feeling pretty confident right now about something and giving sleep a go. I don't think Angel knows quite how many hit points the Dragon Lord has here. So maybe trying to put the Dragon Lord to sleep and then win the fight while the Dragon Lord's asleep. But this time we know that is not going to happen.
I don't think he's going to make it here. If I've been counting correctly, we're at around 153, 166. It's possible he didn't consider that this is Chaos Dragon Lord. I doubt it, considering Angel's caliber of racing, but still, I
No,
believe that's 180.
I think Angel really wanted to get the sleep for everybody here who's watching, and maybe
One.
even try the hurt more afterwards. So
Oh, very, very possible. No question about it. I think he's probably hoping he still won the fight, or at least did get that swag kill. Unfortunately, I believe he did 197 there. Schmike counts 195, 190 something. He did quite a bit of damage, but unfortunately, we know that he has over 200, somewhere between 200 and 220 max HP.
okay, so if Angel got that far, then Angel was definitely feeling fairly confident that actually with one sleep that fight was winnable, and tried 4 times maybe with sleep, maybe more. So yeah, 5 it looks like. So I think Angel knows, I can win this fight. Is definitely going to throw a couple more sleeps. Um, Maybe once you get close to 195, and winning with the Dragon Lord being asleep is always something Angel's hoping to pull off in a fun race like this.
Yeah, Archfield, we did notice that Angel picked up a good number, I believe 10 radishes. Were you concerned anytime during the race that there was a distinct lack of tomatoes available in this seed?
I was, and in fact, I think I have to take the L on this race, actually, because I didn't talk to the radish vendor. I was in Kalen multiple times, and I completely forgot. So I think actually, unofficially, I lost the race. Um, it's unfortunate, but when you're not detail oriented enough, then you put yourself in those positions. So uh, it's that's a shame.
Yes, one with a detailed tracking sheet of every spell cast, every ability, every reward from every enemy. Definitely not detail oriented.
But no radishes, so I don't know what I'm going to put on my salad.
Some red goo.
I've got plenty of red slime drops. Whatever red slimes drop, I have plenty of those.
I was going with red slime vinaigrette, maybe.
Oh, that sounds delightful. Slightly distressing, but also potentially delightful.
So Angel's here at the Dragon Lord with 120 MP with the Death Necklace on. So I'm looking for some more sleeps. If we hit one, we're absolutely using Hurt More, I'm sure, on top of it. And we're trying to manipulate it with a little bit of command, which is part of the Dragon Warrior vanilla manipulation run, of course.
Boom, baby.
Yay!
Sleep. Ah.
Well,
Well.
I enjoyed it. It's always fun when you see the Dragon Lord go to sleep. Also, only part of the manipulation speed run of the original game, but also part of the randomizer when you get real lucky.
I told Angel before the race, if it ends up a seed, it ended up the exact opposite of this, but if it ends up a seed where we just have piles of magic points at some early level and it doesn't seem like it's possible to beat the Dragon Lord, I'm just going to go down there and try to land a couple of hurt mores and steal the race that way. But that's the great thing about I love this event has been great so far. I was really happy that we got to participate in it. And just you get to do some kind of goofy things, get some radishes. I hurt more than my fair share of poltergeists just because, and so on and so forth. So you can do some different things there too. There was something else I did that was kind of off the wall. Remember what it was off the top of my head.
Now I'm trying to remember too if I noticed anything that stood out as
I played that. I decided to
non-standard.
I killed that golem, and we got the fairy flute in the throne room, which is always extremely disappointing in chaos because golems are unlikely to be dangerous just on average. But I did go ahead and play the flute once because I figured if I have it, may as well. It's like a 15 experience point golem that goes down in one hit on level 1, but why not?
Yeah, Angel actually tried to get rid of the fairy flute for a very long time. I can't remember which item it was he was trying to pick up, but it didn't work. The game would not let him let go of an item that important.
All right, was not counting there, but Angel FM has gone ahead and slain the Dragon Lord, returns home, reports his deeds to the king and his successful sleep cast against the Dragon Lord that lasted a whopping 1 turn. And he will wrap up until the dragons return again. Hopefully we can get Angel on and get some thoughts on the seed.
Yep, GG. That was a lot of fun, and I'm very glad that both runners, really actually played it quite well and made good time through what It ended up being a pretty tough seed. I mean, I guess the red slimes helped, but it was a pretty challenging seed up till then.
$192 red slime kills. That's got to be a new record.
I think mine was only in the 70s. I'm gonna let it roll here.
Angel, welcome. GG.
Oh, that was hilarious.
That was pretty great. GG, Angel.
I say we've talked a lot. Say what you want to say, Angel. Tell us about the seed.
This is the reason why you don't play MP agility. Because I don't know how many levels it was, like no strength at all.
Yeah, we noted like you kept getting levels and those levels had no strength. And I was like, this is the build. This is the build kind of ruining Angel's day here. Just keeping him just below the threshold. So you were stuck.
Yeah, pretty much my thought process is, oh, I'm gonna get this Magic Drake or this Wraith Knight on the spike tile to Dragon Lord, and it's just gonna cost me so much. So let me just keep going and nothing. What, I think there was a 6, maybe a 4, something. Nothing.
At least the last level gave you magic points. It's a little consolation prize.
Yeah, let me try sleep a bunch of times on DL2, which, the first time didn't happen, but we got the second time.
632 attacks, and for those who are not Dragon Warrior Randomizer players, that number is way off the charts. Like you just don't see that in a normal seed. So that was that build and low strength.
Interesting. I think you both died to the Wraith Knights exactly 7 times. It felt like and looked like a lot more than that, but despite their seemingly ubiquitous nature, and of course they were on the spike tile in the Swamp Cave, only 7 deaths and only 28 encounters across. Interesting.
Yeah, it felt like a lot more. Like, especially too, like you just go outside of the first zone maybe, and they're right there.
Yeah, basically just due east there north of like Garanham. They were in that sort of passageway to go through to get toward coal and everything.
I think they were also part of like the zone above too, where like I think the Armor Knight hit me for 60 something. The Drakey was there.
Yeah, that Armor Knight I did not see until last floor of Charlock. I only got one of those, the entire seed. But yeah, those once we got sleep, that really helped, and I don't think I ever missed a sleep against either those or the Magidrakies. So that was nice.
Yeah, no, I didn't miss one either at all.
That's actually kind of hard to believe. That's usually a spell that is prone to failure against a lot of enemies, especially with consistent chaos like we played today. So that was a little saving grace that they were both very weak to sleep. Angel, what did you think of your first key? Do you remember that long ago finding your way to that first key?
I mean, I didn't know if there's another way to it. Like, I didn't see Rimuldar. That was my big thing. But yeah, it was nice. It was a nice way to get to it.
Did you pull the key out of grave? I take it.
No, I went through Mountain into Tablet.
Oh, into back door. Okay.
Yeah, you were
right.
first to keys by 10 plus minutes, and through the cave back door into the key shop. So it actually worked out quite well, and you were checking chests quite a bit ahead of Archfield. Of course, you both found the sword around the same time, but you had a lot more open chests early, even though it didn't pay off quite as fast.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's just like, okay, I know the stones still are out there, and let me just keep grinding, because I really do not feel like having to go through the entire system to figure it out. And it wasn't that bad for it, but I did go for quite a bit on that.
Yeah, you definitely had a low. Angel went much earlier than Archfield. Actually, like just the difference was that 30 MP level. So Angel ran out of magic much sooner, So it made a lot of sense to just build up before you do it again.
Yeah, I think Angel also you did not have heal more when you went into the cave system the first time and outside it out from the vanilla sword treasure spot. So probably also another good incentive, knowing that there's some Sharlock floors still ahead, to pick up that heal more spell, if nothing else, before rediving and getting back into that nastiness.
Yeah, especially too since the Magic Drakey and the Wraith Knight were both in Zone 1. So who knows if I had to go through any more of that.
Yep, definitely a gross potential dive ahead of you. Turned out not to be that bad. No Wraith Knights kind of in the way, but could have been really nasty. So maybe let's go to a question I want to ask, which is, how did you decide to play these flags? Whose idea was it? And what made you think, let's do consistent chaos here?
The first answer to that is we are idiots. No, Archfield brought this upon, asked me like, oh, hey, you interested in doing this? And I said, sure. I mean, that's it. Like, these flags aren't as bad as they were back in the 2-point-something days,
Yes.
2.1, where they were really, really bad. I mean, we're talking I think the 1 seed a week we did like took like three and a quarter hours.
Do you remember that one? Was that the one with the Star Wyverns on the spike, on that one, on the Hawksnest spike, and you had to grind to like level 24 or something?
Yeah, I think I know it was like 45,000 experience at some point.
Yes. And that was a random experience too, and it just ended up that you had to go to it was about 46,000 experience points. I remember that pretty well. That's the highest I've ever had to go in terms of just sheer experience total.
But with the experience changes, like getting up to the 350 now, yeah, it doesn't make it as bad as it once was.
Yeah, I think the average kind of across the board is a little bit higher. Some of those enemies that you can start taking out one shot in the mid game end up in the 50 to 80 range or even higher sometimes. So you can gather experience a little bit more easily than you could in the past with this flag set. But yeah, it was basically my idea. I don't even know why I thought of it. I think I opened with that expecting that I would have to talk him down to I don't know, a DWR FFR shuffler or something else off the wall. But he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." I'm like, "Oh."
Sir,
Okay.
have you not seen the flags I have played in these winter leagues?
No, I'm aware.
Well, if we come back here, yeah, I am not an FFR player, but if we do have FFR DWR crossover, a shuffler might be kind of a fun back and forth between two games that are probably fairly familiar to a decent number of people here today.
Well, we'll just have to keep that one in the back pocket for next time.
Can we run FFR in Dragon Warrior mode?
I think you would be obligated to, right? You'd have to have that flag on.
Can we get Magru to build Final Fantasy mode into DWR so we just consistently lose all of our progress all the time?
And there's only one place to save, yeah.
Do we already have people on this? Where's the staff? Get people in here. Call them back.
We've got 4 administrators on the commentary right now. If we can't get this done, what are we doing with ourselves?
I don't even know.
I will say there's one thing about the seed right at the beginning is that since I was agility MP, I began with 6 MP, and I'm like, oh, if this has return, I'm gonna be so mad.
I saw that too, and I thought, I hope we have return because an angel can't get out with his key.
Well, you started with hurt, which I think you're much happier even than having a key to start. So it worked out for both of you. Sounds like there's going to be a 3:00 Eastern race. So we should get some final thoughts here and let people prep for that.
Well, I just want to thank everybody in the FFR community who's involved with putting on this event. It's a great charity. I'm glad we were able to bring a race in, and I hope that everybody enjoyed it. It's been a really terrific marathon so far, and I know we're only about halfway home, so I'm looking forward to watching some more over the next day. So thanks everybody so much, restreamers, crew members, everybody who's pitched in and done runs. It's really great. So thanks for all of the hard work that you put in. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, Archfield said everything that I'd probably want to say. I mean, the only thing I want to add is just today is going to be starting our signups for the DW Randomizer Summer Tournament. So if watching this has like kind of turned you off, come to the Summer Tournament because it is so much nicer than this junkie you got to see. But we will be releasing signups today at some point, and we have 5 async scenes that you can try out, see where you qualify. I mean, the worst case is if you don't feel like you want to play it. I mean, you still do the seeds just to see how you might feel, and just go from there. But don't be afraid to come join us. We are very helpful. We just had the trainer tournament, which had a lot of info about learning this. But yeah, come join us in the Discord. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and sign up if you'd like to. Thank you.
Someone who went through the trainers tournament, I can also plug that one. It was a good run. It was a good tournament that they ran. So go join the Discord. Thus saith the restreamer.
You have to listen to the restreamer. It's in the rules.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, we're glad to join you, and thank you so much, crew, for putting this on and the whole event. So thanks, Sofnum, Hate, and everyone behind the scenes. Really appreciate it.
Yep. And as we get flipped over here to our next game, I would like to remind everybody that we are raising money for the Liam Foundation. Liam Foundation's mission is to encourage, assist, heal, and empower the LGBTQIA+ community through advocacy, respect, and passionate hearts to promote thriving in society. One of the big things we're talking about today is that they have a new office they're constructing to better support their mission. That's going to have 3 times the space, and opening day is July 10th, so right around the corner. So your donations are going to help, kind of that last mile and everything there. So thank you, and good night.